Sometimes with these evidence pairs, we are given a line reference in the first piece, and that can be frustrating because then our instinct might kick in to be like, oh, let's go to that line reference, let's answer this question, let's just do it. And that's why, you really want to be aware of the surrounding questions and just kind of take a breath, because once you see that question 10 is related to question 9, I think that makes question 9 much easier, and then it allows us to follow the QLC method and really kind of just like stick to the right process here. So let's still go to that line, see if there's anything like immediately around line 32 that talks about the matter of urgency. It says, forgive my disruption, but I came with a matter of urgency. His voice was soft, refined. He straightened and stole a deferential peek at her face. So immediately, nothing. He's not explaining why it's urgent. So, okay, that's fine. We're not supposed to, right? These lines here, the L part of QLC method, are going to tell us, hopefully, why it's so urgent. So let's see. Let's see if we can get anything. 39. Right here. I don't want to trouble you. Well, I don't get why that would be urgent. I mean, it sounds like doesn't want to be urgent if that's what he's saying. So that just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't answer the question of why is it urgent. 39 to 42. So now we just keep going with B. Normally, I would approach you more properly, but I've received word of a position. I have an opportunity to go to America as dentist for Seattle's Japanese community. So, okay, well, yeah, like that seems like a reason why he would need to show up and be urgent, is he got a job. Okay, so let's just write that so we don't forget. 58 to 59. Okay, 58 to 59. Depending on your response, I may stay in Japan. I've come to ask for Naomi's hand. Well, it's related, I guess, but it's not really explaining why it's urgent, right? So it almost like turned into a question. Why is it urgent? Because depending on your response, I may stay in Japan. Maybe, but whereas compare that with B, why is it urgent? I have an opportunity to go to America, right? Like, it's a better answer. And so you could leave C in, but B seems to me just like more literally the answer to the question that they're asking. So C is related, but the only reason it makes sense to us is because we already read B, if that makes sense to you. 72 to 73, we still need to read D. That's here. D. Abruptly, his voice turned gentle. I see I've startled you. My humble apologies. Is that it? No, it's not even the humble apologies part. So this is just random. I have no idea what this is talking about. So between B and C here, now we go to the C in the QLC method, the number 9's answer choices, and we try to see what matches with what we read. And so we may have read all of that stuff anyway if we had ignored question 10 and pretended that 9 only existed as its own idea. So we would have gotten the question right maybe because we would have read all this stuff anyway, but notice how much less we're reading and how much more we're skipping because we don't need to read those lines according to question 10. So that's why it's really important to kind of like see the big picture. You might be able to cut some corners in an okay way if you have these paired questions. So just always look for that. So let's see. He fears that his own parents will disapprove of Naomi. Well, he doesn't talk about his own parents at all, so that's no good. B, he worries that Naomi will reject him and marry someone else. There's no someone else. There's no rejection. Doesn't come up. He has been offered an attractive job in another country. Well, that sounds like what we read. He knows that she is unaware of his feelings for Naomi. Well, that may be true, that she's unaware, because he's there telling her about his feelings, so that may be true, but notice that does not match with the line that we found. So this is where I do think also there's a little bit of a trap. And again, if we had only thought about 9 and ignored that 10 was paired with this, I think D becomes a much more attractive choice because it does match a little bit with what we've read. But the thing with the paired questions is we have to answer them as a pair. The answers have to support each other. So a lot of times you'll have an answer choice in number 9 that is true, but is not supported by any of the line references in number 10. And therefore it must not be correct. And so we're using the two questions together to find a match. And so don't ignore that aspect of this. It's a challenging aspect of these paired questions, but sometimes it actually helps us. And I think here is one of those cases where I am much more confident in choice C for number 9 because of choice B for number 10. D does not register at the same level because it's not supported by any lines. So stick to a process, and the paired questions actually get much easier anyway.